Animal testing. The use of living animals for scientific or commercial purposes. It can involve exposing them to drugs, chemicals, diseases, or other conditions. Join us, as we take a look at a handful of animals you may not have known were used for testing. It is estimated that more than 50 million animals are used in experiments each year in the United States. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, does compile annual statistics on some animals used in experiments, including cats, dogs, guinea pigs, hamsters, pigs, primates, rabbits and sheep. However, the animals most commonly used in experiments, purpose-bred mice and rats bred specifically to be used in experiments, are not counted in annual USDA statistics and are not afforded the minimal protections provided under the Animal Welfare Act. The Animal Welfare Act is a federal law that sets minimal standards for the treatment of certain warm-blooded animals used in experiments. The law also requires that unannounced inspections of all regulated research facilities are carried out annually. In addition to purpose-bred mice and rats, animals such as crabs, fish, frogs, octopuses and turtles, as well as purpose-bred birds, are not covered by the Animal Welfare Act. The failure to protect these animals under the law means that there is no oversight or scrutiny of their treatment and use in the laboratory. And, because these animals are not counted, no one knows how many of them are suffering in laboratories. It also means that facilities using unprotected species in experiments are not required to search for alternative, non-animal methods that could be used to replace or reduce harmful experiments that use animals. With that being said, here are a handful of animals used for experimentation, and what they are testing for in each. First, we have dogs. Dogs have their hearts, lungs or kidneys deliberately damaged or removed to study how experimental substances might affect human organ function. Next, we have monkeys. Monkeys are taken from their mothers as infants to study how extreme stress might affect human behavior. We move on to mice. Mice are force-fed daily doses of a chemical for 2 years to see if it might cause cancer in humans. Cats have their spinal cords damaged and are forced to run on treadmills to study how nerve activity might affect human limb movement. Ferrets are deliberately infected with extremely painful, potentially fatal diseases, such as RSV, COVID-19 or Ebola, and not given pain relief or treatment before their death to study how humans might be affected by the same disease. Pigs are implanted with various devices, such as pacemakers and dental implants, to study how human bodies might respond to such devices. Pregnant rabbits are force-fed toxic pesticides every day for several weeks to study how human mothers and babies might be affected if they were exposed to the pesticides. Sheep are subjected to high pressures, such as those experienced deep underwater, for hours at a time and then return to normal pressure so that their response can be observed. Rats are placed in small tubes and are forced to inhale cigarette smoke for hours at a time to study how humans might respond to cigarette smoke. Baboons are injected with endometrial tissue to induce painful symptoms of endometriosis and study how humans might be affected by the disorder. Horses are infected with a potentially fatal virus, such as hepatitis, and their symptoms monitored to study how humans might be affected by the same virus. There is no limit to the extent of pain and suffering that can be inflicted on animals during experiments. In some instances, animals are not given any kind of pain medication to help relieve their suffering or distress during or after the experiment on the basis that it could affect the experiment. Animals are typically killed once an experiment is over so that their tissues and organs can be examined, although it is not unusual for animals to be used in multiple experiments over many years. There are no accurate statistics available on how many animals are killed in laboratories every year. So, What are your thoughts on animal testing? Do you think more should be done to stop it? Drop a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for watching.